me and be forced into the situation.
Right.
But I know that if I want to stay in shape, that is the only way I've got to do it. And so many women, especially here in the UK, would look at the way that I'm talking about this and the way Dev talks about it as this is abusive. Why
Yes.
are you making yourself feel like that? I had a woman on one of Pearl's podcasts, which you guys probably watched a while ago, saying that feeling inside isn't healthy.
No.
Well, actually, it pushes you to be a better woman for
Yes.
you and for that guy. It makes you a better person. It makes you feel amazing. That's the kind of insecurity we're talking about. Guys have to go through insecurity from the time they're a teenager and for the rest of their life. That might be their career. It might be, doing better than other peers in their group. Their insecurity is all the time with that. So it makes them become better. And it's the same for women, but it comes to us when it's in a relationship with that high value guy. If me and Devon, if you were to move to the UK and we were to live together and you and me were two single women and, we're not 20s anymore, and let's just not go there. But, you and me could sit there and be like, oh, well, there's no point. We don't have to go to the gym anymore. This is great. We can just sit here and just eat all day and not. We wouldn't get anything from that in the long run. It might be okay for a month, but then how are we going to feel and look? And what's our health going to be like? Our mental and physical health after like 6 months of behaving like that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I hate working out, and if my trainer didn't come every day, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest here, but I'll tell you, I feel like working out is part of my job. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
because at the end, but afterwards, I feel good. I'm healthy. I look better than I have in a long time. And, I know that I'm doing what I don't want to do towards the greater good.
Right.
And the greater good happens to be for my personal benefit. So, we all do things that we don't want to do. And we all feel things that aren't necessarily comfortable. And I think it's important because in this day and age, words like insecurity, words like anxiety, they tend to strike people as, oh my God, that's bad. It's bad for your mental health.
Right.
If you feel these things, you're probably, mentally ill, or you need to be medicated or something of that nature. But it's important to understand that a certain level of anxiety and insecurity is good for human nature. It's good because, if we didn't demand better of ourselves, we wouldn't achieve anything in this world. So, and I think when it comes to a relationship, a little bit of insecurity and a little bit of anxiety is good because you're always trying to make things a little bit better than they were the day before. And women add value to men's lives if they can make their lives better. And we're not talking about make their lives better by bringing in an extra $100,000 a year. No, we're talking about making them feel better about how we treat the men in our lives and how we make them feel. And are they happy to see us? And do we turn them on? And like all of these things. So, it's important to understand that relationship insecurity and anxiety can actually improve your overall, not only your health, your mental health, but also your emotional health because you're in a healthy relationship. It's really important to understand that and not automatically say that anxiety and insecurity is a bad thing.
Yeah, something else I wanted to add because Dev she hates to work out. She absolutely hates to work out. But what it comes down to is nothing good ever comes easy.
Oh, you got it.
There's a reason. There's a reason why most people in America are overweight. It's because most people in America do not want to diet and exercise. There's a reason for that. There's a reason that a very, very special few people, I don't even want to call it special few, there's a reason that very, very few people are aesthetically, I guess, perfect, like in great shape, six-pack abs, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. Getting something like that, having something as great as an elite physique, it's not easy. And And most people don't do it because most people can't do it. Well, let me back up here. It's not that most people can't do it. It's just that most people don't have the mental wherewithal to get themselves to that level. Well, it's the same thing as relationships. Complacency is always the enemy of happiness. You can be happy, but I think it's important, and this is one of the many differences between men and women in relationships. When a man is anxious when a man is insecure in a relationship, like I said at the top of the broadcast, it doesn't look good on him. And again, there's a difference between insecurity and anxiety. You don't want to have anxiety, but by the same token, what women have to understand is that, or what men have to understand is that we have to, in order to dominate the world, we almost have to live in a constant state of malcontent. This doesn't mean being depressed or drooping around all the time. This just means that, hey, you know what? It's not over yet. You know, I mean, today is going to be a good day. We're gonna continue to work at it, et cetera, et cetera. I think people need to understand, especially where men and women are coming from, you know, with regards to being sort of a malcontent. I think the best thing to do in terms, and I'm trying to think of the word. I don't want to use the word insecurity, but I think there's a word that I'm searching for, but there has to be just a little bit of fire underneath both the man and the woman. Guess what? A man, and don't get me wrong, men shouldn't be insecure in relationships, but we should always be looking to improve. Yeah. And the difference between men and women when they reach the pinnacle of whatever is that men want to continue to work for it, right? But then women are like, okay, we made it, and now it's here. Now we're going to take a break. That's where men and women are different. And this is why men and women are better together. Because if a woman sees that her man is striving to be better no matter what, then the woman is obviously going to follow suit because she knows, okay. And I remember my ex-wife. One of the many times I lost weight, she's like, man, you're losing all this weight and this and that and the third. She was insecure and she was anxious because she was not losing weight at all. She could have come to the gym with me. She could have died and exercised with me, but she chose not to. Yeah. And that's what really caused her anxiety.
Yeah, a lot of people don't want their significant other to improve. In fact, their significant other improving causes them to be in a negative way insecure rather than in a positive way insecure. And what I mean is that, insecurity can technically be just a lack of confidence.
Sure.
But it's different because we're talking about confidence in the relationship, not confidence in ourselves. So when your significant other is constantly improving and you're not keeping up, that makes you feel bad about yourself and also bad about your relationship.
Well, that's the right kind of insecurity then.
Yeah.
Yes. If your significant other is improving, but you're not, and you start to feel insecure, that's a good thing. This means that now, some people fold, some people focus, right? Mm-hmm. You have one of two options. You can either get your ass in the gym or wherever the case may be and get to that level, or what most people do is they attempt to sabotage their significant other. So let's say it's let's just use the girl-guy situation. Let's just say that the guy is in the gym and he's working out, busting his ass, and he's starting to, you know, he's in better shape. Everything is all around. The woman can either follow suit or she can try to sabotage him. She can try to make him unhealthy meal. She can say, "Hey, you know what? You don't need to be at the gym today. Why don't you take the day off?" Or, "Oh my God, you're working out. You're gonna hurt yourself." And so most people choose to sabotage or find a reason or excuses not to continue to improve, like the man or the woman in their lives.
You put an extra stick of butter in that mashed potato.
Oh my God, dude! Wait, that was oddly specific. Extra stick of butter.
That's what we do.
Didn't we have mashed potatoes 2 nights ago?
That's our little.
Yeah, that's your little secret. But yes, and it depends on who you are. I don't know, man. It's weird. Insecurity and I don't know that I'm using the right word, but when I see a picture, well, when I was on Instagram, when I look at guys like Mike Rashid, he makes me feel insecure. Mike Rashid is this dude. He's my height, but he's ripped and he's rich and he's got these girls and I'm like, dude. That dude makes me feel insecure. But you want to know what that also does? That motivates me. Insecurity motivates people. Insecurity motivates people. If insecurity doesn't motivate you, then you're a lazy person, because you should always want to be striving. Look, not everybody needs to be a conqueror or a master of the universe. No. That's not what I'm saying at all. But if you're going to live a life, you may as well live the best life you can. And if somebody or something makes you feel insecure about your station in life, I think that's a good thing, because I think insecurity can motivate the right person to battle their insecurity. Listen, if you're insecure about the way you look, about being fat, get your ass in the gym. That's where being insecure actually helps people. If you're insecure about the fact that your man is looking at other women and not you, then get your ass in the gym and make sure your man looks at you. That's where insecurity is a good thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think you've got the screen to like share, Donovan.
Oh, yes. Yeah, go ahead and share that.
Do anything?
So the first video is actually the one that so I've got 3 videos to share here. The first one is of you, and then I'm going to share a couple of shorts. So if you want to go ahead and click that option that we practiced. Jesus Christ, practiced back. There we go. Okay, and this is your video on insecurity. Here we go.
Let's talk about why it's good for women to be insecure.
Oh, that's a clever.
If you are with a high-value man, which you should be, complacency and time are your number one enemies.
Yes.
As a woman in this situation, you should be worried about everything. Your age, your looks, but most importantly, your behaviour, and whether your man will get a better offer elsewhere. Insecurity, on the other hand, is your best friend. Worrying about your appearance, your age, and if your man might leave you, will compel you to put the effort in to keep everything going. Insecurity pushes you to the salons, to the gym, and to review your food choices. And it makes sure you always do your hair and your makeup. It's what drives you to be pleasant and accommodating for your man. All of this is what will keep him with you. Far too many women try to brush off insecurity. Don't do that. Welcome it and embrace it into your life. It will be one of your greatest assets.
Wow, very good. Oh, I don't know why they're advertising MLD show after yours. Hold on, let me. Whoa, sorry about that. This is a little MLD, a little bit different. MLD is a little bit different from you, who you are. Hold on, let me. Yeah, MLD is a little different character. Everything you said in that video, Tallulah, is absolutely correct. And I'm just gonna play it. I'm just going to play it without the sound, just to give it more of an aesthetic feel, because that's what we're reacting to at this point in time. I'm also going to loop it. See, there we are. There's a hack. What you said is 100% spot on, and this is the thing. It's very, and we're not saying that complacency makes you a bad person, dude. I've been complacent. You know what I mean? We all get complacent, but there's something that in you that has to snap and say, okay, like for me, for instance, like the last, 6 to 8 months, I've become a fat ass. And so when I see guys like Mike Rashid, whatever the case may be, I watch my woman walking around, I'm like, dude, she looks better than I do naked. Something's got to change. I think I think men for the most part embrace that, but women need to embrace it. And the reason why women need to embrace it is because everything around women tells them you should never feel secure. You should never feel insecure in a relationship. You should always, you're the prize. There's nothing that you need to do to improve. And like I said at the top of the broadcast, is there any wonder why women are older? The average woman in a relationship is older, fatter, less useful, more vapid, etc., etc. I think that women should absolutely embrace insecurity, not anxiety, insecurity, because I saw somebody in your chat said complacency. What is it? Complacency breeds stagnation. Stagnation is the enemy of all relationships. Complacency, stagnation, etc., etc. What did you think of the video?
I thought it was great. It just makes me think about all of the mental health stuff that is being shoved down our throat, especially since the pandemic. You shouldn't, if If you're insecure, it makes you anxious. If you're anxious, it makes you self-destructive.
Wow. Wow. Good.
But the self-destructive part is the mental illness, the negative mental health side of things. It also has a flip side, and I think the flip side tends to be where the men lean towards, is where, okay, insecurity brings motivation.
Yep.
Motivation brings discipline. Discipline brings improvement. If women could just grasp that, hey, I'm feeling anxious, I can fix this. Let me go ahead and get motivated to figure out what I need to do, have the discipline to do it, and therefore improve my life, improve the lives of my significant others. So, it's more of a mindset where men have a tendency, and also men are actually, told from their upbringing, and since they were kids, is like, hey, if you don't like something, you've got to change it. You have to make yourself the man you want to be. You're born a man, you're born a boy, but you need to become a man.
That's right.
Whereas women are like, okay, you're perfect just the way you are. Just hang on to it. There's no need to improve. All you got to do is preserve it. I think that's a mistake. And so women feel like if they're not perfect the way they are, there must be something wrong with them, which makes them anxious, which makes them insecure, which leads to a negative thought process of how to deal with that. So let's say if women understood that anxiety is actually something that is a survival mechanism, and it's saying, hey, here's a way. Okay, we're feeling insecure. We're feeling anxious about this. We're feeling, what's the word I'm looking for? Like uncertain.
Yes.
About how this is going. All right, that means that I am in a position to make a change. So what can I do to make the situation better? And that mindset is the only reason why I'm with Donovan today. It's the only reason why. Is because if he expressed concern about something that I was doing, I found a way to respond and resolve the problem, relieve the concern, make myself better, show him that I'm willing to go above and beyond to not only keep his attention, but to, increase his attention.
Yes.
And I think it's really important to understand that, like, if women took control and said, okay, I don't like this, instead of saying you need to accept it, you need to accept what I don't like about myself so that I can feel better about it.
Oh, wow, yes.
It's better to say, hey, guess what? I can fix this. This is my control. These are my controllables. Let me see what I can do with them. And all of a sudden, you're leveling up not only your mindset, but who you're qualifying for in the dating market.
Yeah,
Wow,
exactly.
well said. Jesus Christ, man.
And I think as well that, for women that are dating men of the elite, the 1%, the 0.5% high value man, there is a lot of insecurity because these guys can afford cleaners. They can afford trainers. They can afford chefs. Not a cook, not just someone that comes to the house to do a bit of this and that and the other, a chef.
Yes.
And you have to bring more than that.
That's right.
And yes, a lot of that is involved in looks. It's involved in keeping yourself in shape, keeping yourself healthy. But for women, it's keeping your mind healthy for him. So he can come back to a place where there's peace, there's quiet, there's someone that supports him. You have to let go of that control. Let go of what your friends are telling you. Oh, this is not normal. This isn't how you should feel. All these things that women get told all the time, which is just not true. If we go back historically, 18th century, look how much anxiety there was of being with Henry VIII. He was chopping off women's heads, and women were still saying, I want to be there. They were all still fighting for him.
Yeah, even when, and it's interesting, I forget who King Henry VIII's wife was when he had the affair with Anne Boleyn, but she loved Henry VIII until the day she died. Even though he dogged her and everything, she never allowed anyone to say a bad word about him. Let me go back to what you said on about men being able to outsource things. what modern women really need to, they know this, but I don't think they really understand the implications this has on the dating market. There is very little that the average rank and file Western modern women can offer to a man that we can't outsource, that we can't outsource ourselves. There's nothing that there's very little that the average modern woman, modern Western woman can offer that we can't go out and buy ourselves. If we want sex, we can go out and buy it. If we want arm candy when we're going to a party, we can rent that. If we want, just like you said, if we want our clothes washed and dried and folded, there are companies that do that. If we want our shirts ironed, we can send it to the dry cleaners. If we want a home cooked meal, we can either hire a chef or we can have a meal prep and meal delivery service. And so the disconnect is that women don't quite understand that there's nothing that they can offer us that we can't go out and buy ourselves. But by the same token, there is no amount of money that a woman can actually pay a man to retire her. You understand what I mean? And so what women need to understand is that they just and actually I stand corrected on something Devin said. We always say in this community, men have to build value, women simply have to preserve it. And what she just said kind of poked a hole in the second part of that statement. And here's what I mean. Women, or when boys are born, when we're 18 years old, we're useless. Like, we're gangly, we're pimply, we're raging with hormones. We don't know anything yet. We're just kind of starting out. A man doesn't really start to realize a return on his investment until he's in his mid to late 30s. That's when we're at that's when our value begins to increase. On the other hand, women are born with everything they need to get everything they need. However, that doesn't mean that they can't, that doesn't mean that they don't still have a responsibility to themselves and their future boyfriends or husbands to improve themselves. I say this all the time. All a woman has to do is make it to 18 years old if she can make it to 18 years old as a virgin, a non-smoker who has never drank, she does not have any tattoos, no crazy piercings, and even then crazy piercings can be taken out. If she can get to those 5 things, she has a lottery ticket. She could be a below average looking woman. As long as she doesn't get fat, as long as she doesn't lose her virginity, get any tattoos, the world is her oyster. Then if she improves herself even further by going to the gym, tightening up that body, learning how to cook, embracing femininity, at that point, now you can really write your own ticket, because now you are a virginal woman who is attractive, actively seeking a man to be in a relationship and have a family with. And so, yeah, I got to give Devin credit here. We always say that women have to just preserve their value, and that's true. But that doesn't mean that they don't have a little bit of work to do in order to really maximize themselves on the dating market.
Well, I think that's why women today are so vapid too, is because one of the things that the main thing that a woman can do to increase her value is learn how to take care of people. And that's just simple things as being thoughtful and being foresighted and understanding what people need and anticipating that. That's something that men can't put a dollar sign on. So
you can't. That's very true. We can buy we can buy everything else except for true companionship. And that's really, and again, men, we thrive in solitude. We really, really do. But I mean, that doesn't mean that we don't still want somebody to be with. So the one thing that men can't buy, the one thing that women can offer to a man that a man can't buy is companionship. However, I'm not going to allow a woman to be my companion if she can't cook, if she can't clean, if she doesn't keep herself in shape. So if I have to sacrifice companionship at the altar of a woman who actually gives a damn, then it is what it is.
Do you remember on the dating show there was a guy who had a house mother?
Yes. Christy Katzman,
Labor of Love.
Labor of Love.
Okay.
Yeah, he was, dude. The guy was 42 years old and had a house mom. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was like a live-in maid / cook / take care of his appointments, do all of the things.
Wow.
It was a house mother. Yeah. Isn't that bizarre?
Wow.
But he preferred that to the headaches of a girlfriend of what most modern women have to offer.
Yeah, and this is the thing. A lot of guys can just hire that. Even guys that are not, in a lot of wealth. Most people now have cleaners, and some people have cooks and people to iron. It's just, there's a lot more that you need to bring in. We've got a question here.
Okay, let's do it.
So Donovan and Devon, I'm going to give it to you. Question for both creators. When women reach out to you for help, what's the most common struggle you find women having a hard time to deal with?
Yeah, man standards. And women don't typically reach out to me for help. It happens to be one of these deals. It's one of these deals where, and we've had women reach out to us for help before, but some of the, I guess the most difficult thing that they have to really wrap their head around is the word submissiveness, right? A lot of women, particularly black women, they have a problem with submitting to a man. But what they don't realize is that being submissive is not having a voice. It's like being Western, like modern women, they disingenuously characterize submissiveness as walking around the house with a black eye, afraid to step out of line and walking on eggshells. We hear this all the time. I'm not going to walk on eggshells around my man. No, nobody's asking you to walk on eggshells around your man. What we are asking you to do is to relinquish control. That's really what submission is to relinquish and surrender control. But by the same token, the man has to be worth relinquishing control to. A woman has to trust a man, that she has to trust that he has her best interests at heart, that he's doing things that benefit them both. Because if she doesn't trust him to guide the relationship in the right direction, she's incapable of submitting, and she shouldn't, because she's just not sure. That's that uncertainty that you were talking about. But the toughest thing that modern women have is not only submission, but keeping in shape. Look, and I say this all the time. We as men, we're not hard to please. We're really, really not. If you are fit, feminine, and friendly, the more fit you are, the more feminine you are, the more friendly you are, the more willing we are to deal with any issues you may have. Women aren't perfect. We know that women have shit with them. We know that women have their quirks, their faults, their frailties, their idiosyncrasies. You guys are human. It is what it is. But if you're fit, feminine, and friendly, we are going to be so much more accepting of dealing with these things as they come. Devon's a great woman. She's not perfect. She's got her issues. She's got her idiosyncrasies. She's got her frailties. She's got her faults.
No,
yeah, you're
perfect.
You're perfect. Perfect. But the fact that she is extremely fit, she's feminine and she's friendly. That's what makes dealing with some of these things a little bit more worth it. And women always want guys to say, well, I should be willing, a man should accept me the way I am. No, the hell he shouldn't, because you don't accept men the way they are. So the toughest thing women have, the two toughest things are the three F's, being fit, feminine, and friendly. Women don't like to admit that, hey, you know what? I'm doing this for the sole purpose of keeping my man. No, the reason I'm staying in shape is for me. Okay, that may be true, but you're also doing it for your man. Women don't want to admit that. Okay, so I do what my man asks me to do because it's the right thing to do. Yeah, that, and you want to be submissive. Being submissive, and here's what a lot of people don't realize. A woman being submissive requires tremendous mental strength, because to relinquish and surrender control to another human being, it takes a level of I couldn't do it. This is where women have more mental strength than men. I can't be submissive. I am not about to relinquish or surrender control to any goddamn body. I'm just not doing that. That's just the way I am. That's the man in me. But women have that capacity, and most women have no idea it takes so much more mental strength to be submissive to a man than to be strong and independent.
Well, let me say this. A woman who is submissive and can display that trust that it takes to be submissive. A lot of times it's because she had good parents that she could trust to take care of her.
Yes.
And I think it's really important that women who've never had parental figures, father figures that they could trust are going to have a much more difficult time being submissive, because
good point.
they've never really been able to relinquish that control and still be okay. So, and I
Absolutely.
think that's why the strong, independent woman, she's like, could only depend on herself and can only rely on herself. Yeah, okay, that might work for you for a little while, but a lot of the struggles that women come into when they realize, like, hey, I'm not really happy being strong and independent and all of this stuff. Where's the middle ground? And a lot of times, in modern relationships, the middle ground is, okay, I'm going to submit these certain aspects of life to my husband. He's going to let me take care of these aspects of life, and together we'll find a balance that works for us. And I think it's important to understand that that kind of balance is different for different people, but it does take a level of submission and trust from the woman to the man to say, there are important things in our life that I'm going to let you take control over and handle, and I'm not going to push back. And just like, Donovan doesn't bother me the way I organize the kitchen. Like, there are certain things that, like and a part of our life that he really doesn't have a say, doesn't want to say. And there are things in our life that I don't want to say, I don't even want to know. So, and he takes care of me in that way, where he knows that there are things that are happening that may be stressful, that may be distracting me from my core mission, which is making our lives better. So he handles that side of things. I handle the side of things that would really add no value to his life, but it's part of keeping the house together, and keeping our lives together. Like, especially technically, like on the business end, where I handle a lot of the back end stuff, all the website stuff, and the merchant stuff, and fraud screening, and e-commerce, and all of this stuff, where he doesn't want to know.
Dude, I already have a headache.
Yeah, right. Like, and I don't bother him with those things, but I take care of them. In a way, people could say, oh, well, Donovan, submits control to. No. When it comes down to the decisions of the operation, those go through him. But the details and the grunt work of things, I don't bother him with. I take care of that, and that does add value to his life.
Yeah. I mean, the perfect example of that, and I know this is only a small thing compared to, how you keep your home, Devon, but is when I couldn't make Donovan's event in Miami, and you made the most beautiful, everyone watching, you should see this website, beautiful website.
Yeah, man.
So people could interact with the community online, interact with the community there. It was beautifully presented.
That's not easy to do, man. Like, dude, she never ceases to amaze me with this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, unbelievable. And that added to him, his life, his money, his business, his also as well, how my channel's massively about behavior, is actually you gave it that website a specific, nice, clean look. It looked professional. You were like, how am I going to represent Donovan? How am I going to represent his brand here? You probably didn't think about it like that, but that's what you did.
Oh, it's interesting. I remember, I think it was the Not All Women live podcast where Devon actually expressed, hey, you know what? At my age, et cetera, sometimes I feel like I'm bad for Donovan's brand. And I think that, and to me, nothing could be further from the truth. Devon clearly...
Well, bro, you're supposed to have a 22-year-old hottie with a body count of 0.
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah. We listen, man. I teach men to deal with women the way they are and not the way they should be. Number one. Number two, I don't know any hot 20-year-old virgins. Number one. Number two, I don't know any hot 21-year-old virgins who can build a website on command. It just doesn't work that way. Listen, man, I've banged every blonde, brunette, redhead, purple-haired, blue-haired stripper. I mean, I've done them all. And when it really comes down to it, what I have discovered, and I think a lot of men can probably co-sign on this, is the more attractive a woman is in the West, the less useful they tend to be. And that's because they only use their beauty as agency. I broke down a Fresh and Fit podcast yesterday, and there's this girl on there. Her name is Nina Pina, and Pina, I think, is Spanish for pineapple. That might be why she calls herself Nina the Pineapple. Dude, she's a beautiful young woman. She's like a spinner type girl. She's got a really nice butt. But the thing is that she's an OnlyFans star, number one. And now, and I remember when she first started doing Fresh and Fit, she was 25 years old. She was fresh faced. Now she's talking about, well, I just bought my first condo and this and that and the third, and doing OnlyFans shouldn't matter. Here's the thing with Nina. She's useless. All she does literally is shake her ass. A girl who looks like her should be married to some Brazilian billionaire. But she decided to go ahead and cash out early and not make herself useful. I can promise you, Nina, she might be able to shake her ass. She can't cook, right? Nina probably can't cook. She probably has someone else clean her house, whatever the case may be, and she probably is not interested in being submissive. But I said all that to say this. Nina's the perfect example of the young, hot girl who is useless. 10, 15 years ago, that'd have been just fine. But here at 45 years old, I need a little more out of my woman than just the way she looks.
Right. Well, we've got 5 minutes left, and
Okay.
there's a really great question here, guys.
Let's do it.
This is perfect for you two. There we go. At what point in a relationship can the couple feel that their relationship commitment is cemented and will last lifelong, like in the earlier days of man prior to the 1950s or so? I love that question, Dan. Thank you.
Yeah. Probably when we're 75, right? Devin, look, I've told Devin this. She probably doesn't remember this. I said, look, if you and I make it to 70 years old and we're both still together, I can pretty much guarantee you I'm probably not going anywhere, right? You know what I mean? So she's got so what are we? We're both in our mid 40s. Yeah, we got another 20. Yeah, we got another 25 years. So to answer his question, at what point? And I say that tongue in cheek, but I'm actually serious about that. And when he says, and shout out to Dan for this question, but when people feel that their relationship and commitment is cemented, that's good for a man's mental well-being. That's not good for a woman. When a woman knows that her relationship is cemented, that means secure. When a woman feels secure in the relationship, if she's not upholding her end of the bargain, that is a bad thing. Listen, if a woman is handling her shit, if she's fit, feminine, and friendly, she should feel secure in her relationship because she is the cause of that security, right? When a woman is the cause of the security in a relationship, fit, feminine, friendly, I take care of my man, I do his website stuff, at that point, yeah, you can feel secure in a relationship. Women only feel insecure in a relationship when they know they're not handling their shit. And so there are certain women out here. There are certain women that will always strive to be better, even though they feel that their relationship is cemented. But deep down inside, they know that nothing is guaranteed. You can ask Devin right now. Look. I'll just be honest with you. Devin and I hope that we last for a long time. I say a woman never belongs to you; it's just your turn. That's absolutely true with me. Absolutely true with Dev. Now, I hope that my turn is longer than most, but nothing is guaranteed. And this is exactly why our relationship works, is because we know that our relationship is not cemented. We know that we know that there are many things that could derail us. That could be our fault. If I get fat, lose all my money and all this other kind of stuff, and I don't show the resolve to get it back, guess what? If in 3 months, if Dev doesn't see improvement, she's out the door. If Dev loses her drive to stay fit, feminine, and friendly, I'm out the door. I think that insecurity, just like we said, just to bring it back around, it is a good thing. It's you don't want to feel like you are cemented in a relationship, because that's almost another way. Not that Dan is saying this, but when you say your relationship is cemented, it's almost like an indirect way of saying unconditional love. Well, I'm cemented. There's nothing that I or Devin can do that can derail this relationship. There are plenty of things that both her and I could do that would absolutely destroy this relationship. So while it's good to know that so long as you continue to do the right thing and continue to be a good mate to your mate, as long as you keep that mentality, it's okay to be secure, as long as you know that you're the cause of that security.
I have a different take on this.
Oh, okay. Hey, Penelope.
I think what he's talking about is When you've been in a relationship with someone for a long period of time, okay, you guys have been through some stuff. You've been through good times, you've been through bad times,
Man,
you've
got
been
that right.
through the ringer. Anything good worth having is a lot of work.
That's right.
And good relationships are work, and good relationships are only good as long as people continue to do the work.
That's right.
So I think what he's trying to say is, like, if you compare it to a job, all right, I work this job for 20, 30 years. I retire, I have a pension. I no longer have to work, but I have the benefits of work.
Okay.
Therefore, in a relationship, we've been together 10, 20 years, 30 years now. At what point can I stop doing the work and continue to have the benefits of that relationship? I don't think that it ever becomes autopilot.
Ooh.
At a certain point, you might be content and happy with your lives, but the second that you stop doing the work to either maintain your quality of life, maintain your mental health, take care of one another, that it's going to start to erode. And entropy will start to take over at that point. So, at one point, could you feel like it's, your relationship is committed and cemented, maybe to the point where you have grown children who are starting their own families, and you two are like you're living a good life together. You're both happy. You're in a good routine. You're trying new things. You're living life together rather than apart, but in the same house type of thing. I don't think that even in the 1950s that people were on autopilot with their relationships. I have a feeling that people were still up to the same shenanigans that they are today. It was just less advertised, publicized, known about on social media and things like that. It was just more on the down low. However, I remember even my grandparents, who both had dementia, and even my grandpa at like 78 years old was like accusing my grandmother of looking at the medical transport driver funny.
Your grandpa's a rascal, though. He's a rascal, that guy, man. He's a funny dude.
But it's funny because that hindbrain, that insecurity never goes away, even when you're 80 years old and you've been with this person for 50 years. So, I think that if you're looking for a point where you can just go on autopilot and ride, you're going to be disappointed. Even couples in retirement homes are cheating on each other and things like that.
Especially now, right?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So, I think that if you're going to be in a relationship, you're going to have a family, it's going to take work, and you've got to love your work. So choose wisely.
Wow, very good.
Right. Wow, that's great. Well, guys, thank you for coming on. Can you just tell us where we can find you?
Yeah, find us on Donovan Sharpe on YouTube. We low key opened up another Instagram. It's called How to Relationship. So actually, I think it's called How to Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's the only way I can see Instagram posts is if I have an Instagram account. But I don't know what the Instagram is. I'll probably make probably make an announcement. But yeah. Find us on Donovan Sharpe. Go to donovansharpe.com, howtorelationship.net. That's where you can find all of our books, courses.
TSRacademy.com.
Oh, TSRacademy.com.
Sharpestream.com.
Sharpestream.com.
Those are our websites.
Anything else? Okay, yeah. I defer to her expertise on that. But yeah, that's where to find us. Always good to talk to you, Tallulah. It's good to see you look healthy. You look you look good. You look it's good to see you, up and about. So Devin and I are very, very excited that
good to have you back.
Yeah, it's definitely good to have you back. We've missed you for sure.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, likewise. It feels so like at home when I have you guys on the stream. Everyone else is like, but you guys, it's like, yeah, who else better to do my first day of streaming back with? And like I said, guys, I think that really actually it is a really good idea to do the meetup in the UK.
Yes.
So if that's something that people want to get involved with, do just send us a message or spread the word, and we'll get yourselves and Troy, Pearl, other UK creators, and we'll do a meetup day for sure.
Very good. All right.
Know when you're coming yet? It's going to be Jan, Feb, March.
Yeah, right around in there. Yeah. Every time I talk, the last time I talked to Pearl is going to be sometime in either like the middle end of February or the beginning of March. But all she's got to do is let us know, and we're there.
I've never been overseas, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, we got to get our passports renewed too. So Yeah, we got some paperwork to do, but yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Great. All right. Thanks, everyone.